Hey, we're reeling like all of you on the thought of Tiger Woods being in the hospital, but we're all with Tiger tonight as he takes on a new battle and Tiger's life takes another turn. A life some have said resemble a Greek tragedy. But if there's one thing we've learned is do not count this man out. We dedicate our show tonight to Tiger. And next week is March. You know that's March Madness, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Bubble teams like Duke and Michigan State starting to emerge while Michigan continues to assert itself as the leader of the Big Ten and maybe more. We're 2 weeks away from the start of the conference tournaments in college basketball. Let's get fired up. Welcome to Father, Son, and Holy Sport. I'm G-Man from Ohio, and that there's T-Money from San Francisco.
Let's go.
How you doing, T?
G. Oh, been a great weekend. Michigan got a great win over the Buckeyes, so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah,
March Madness is just around the corner, so got to be excited. Glad to be here. Beautiful day here in San Francisco.
I got the Buckeye How Firm Thy Friendship screen, Zoom screen behind me. I'm with you, Buckeyes. Hang in there. And congratulations on the Michigan win, T-Money.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought win, so I'm excited about it. They're moving on, probably clinched the Big Ten title with that one, so we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, man. It's not over yet. Hey, what in the world is going on beside that, man?
I mean, like you said in the start of the show, thoughts and prayers are out to Tiger Woods and his family. I'm just happy that he is alive, survived that very scary pictures that came out. That was some intense stuff. And, it's really, really sad to see. I truly worry if that was the last time we see him ever golf.
Yeah, I know. That would be terrible. And I know that we're all hoping that's not the case. And we're all expecting it not to be the case. I heard Tony Finau say that the 97 Masters, Tony Finau on the tour now, I don't even know how old he is now. Do you know Tony Finau?
About 26, 27 probably.
He said the 97 Masters where Woods won his first major and just smashed everybody, changed the course of his life. That's what he said. Without that event, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be playing golf.
That's how everyone feels, man. Everybody in this generation or any generation at this point that has at least watched Tiger Woods in some sort of media, whether it be YouTube or Sundays back in the day. I mean, everybody can remember a Tiger moment if you're a sports fan. This guy was dominant more than anyone we've ever seen, more than LeBron, more than Michael Jordan, more than Tom Brady. This guy, over a span of a decade and a half, was the scariest man in sports. He was a god. So to see him fall like this, it's really sad, but man, he inspired a generation. I mean, he inspired these golfers, and now the sport's in a better spot than it's ever been. But I mean, like you said, everyone remembers a Tiger moment. He just has had such an impact on the sports world.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. He won his first major at 21, and he had that passion, that emotion. He had the red Nike shirt on Sunday, and he created that Tiger effect. On Sunday, people would run to their televisions because they knew he was going to come on. And from 97 to 2008, a 10-year run, he wins 14 majors. Yeah. And his win in 2019, the recent one was his 15th, but he had 14 in that 10-year run. And remember the 2001 Masters, Tiger and Phil in the final group on Sunday, Tiger versus Phil head to head, the final group, the final round of Augusta. Woods is vying for once in a lifetime feat, trying to get the Tiger Slam. Mickelson had not won his first major title yet. And Tiger wins. And people say, well, you can't call that the Slam because you didn't win it all in 1 year. And he said, I have all 4 trophies on my mantle. You can call it whatever you want. So they called it the Tiger Slam.
Yeah, I mean, that. He's just something special. And he proved to a lot of people back in the day that you don't have to be an elite, typically white, guy. And he proved that athletes could play as well. That was the biggest thing that changed is he took a sport that was relatively, unathletic guys focused on, hitting the ball straight and shot location, to I'm going to drive this ball farther than anyone else. I'm going to be the most fit guy out here. I'm never going to get tired. I'm going to be the strongest. I'm going to, be the most dedicated. He turned golf into somewhat of, a social sport, into a very intense competition. And that's why this game has grown so much. He proved that if you're a football player and you get hurt, and you can only golf, well, athletes can golf too. And you see that nowadays. It's just awesome.
He brought that athletic body, into the sport. People said nobody can, play golf when they're that big and strong. And he brought that athleticism and that fire and that passion to just want to blow people out. And none of the golfers were like that. They were all, kind of, they were competitive, don't get me wrong, but they weren't like him.
And it was almost a faux pas to show it too.
Yeah. And I got a little story to represent that. I'm glad you said that. Little story of you and me, because I when I think of Tiger, I think of father-son relationship, him and his dad, him and his son. And it reminds me of you and me. And here's a story of T-Money and me golfing number 12 at Wedgwood in Columbus, Ohio. T-Money's about 10 years old. Right around when all this was going on, when Tiger was going crazy. And I got the ball up on a hill on top of the green. It was up on a hill, and on the other side of the green was water. And I had to chip the shot from this hill, kind of in really long grass.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't like long grass, couple feet or something.
And you and I, it was the long hair stuff, and you guys were, you and me were standing up there together, and you were kind of caddying for me, if you will. You used to ride in the cart with me all the time. And so we're up there just by ourselves playing this hole. I chip it from the hill, hits the green, rolls all the way down at an angle, starts to curve, goes in the hole. You and I start diving all over each other. And you were yelling, "Dad, that's the best shot I've ever seen." We're jumping up, down, hugging it. And I remember the ranger riding up the cart path, and we were worried that he thought we were showing too much emotion. And isn't that weird? You think that now with Tiger, you would never think that after him.
Yeah.
But at the time, you just didn't jump around like that on the golf course. I remember I signed my glove for you, and you still have my glove today.
Oh, yeah, I got it hidden away. So
that was the glove.
Yeah.
From that shot.
That was an awesome shot, awesome memory. And that's the stuff, I wanted to be out there because Tiger was out there, and I loved it because you got to see his passion. Even as a young kid, it was inspiring. So it's sad, and I'm happy he's okay and awake and lucid, and it wasn't, any sort of alcohol or, other people involved, so those are all great things, but it's really sad that we could potentially never see him compete for another major again. So personally, I'm very happy that he almost gets to go out with that 2019 majors win. That's kind of the last thing you think of, instead of, he was almost there. He was in contention, he could have done it. He got to leave on somewhat of a high note there, but really sad news that he might probably never compete in a major again.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not saying that, but man, yeah, I agree with you. And the relationship with his children helped him emerge from all those things that he got divorced in 2010, but he had all kinds of things going wrong. And he emerged out of that because of his kids. He's got a daughter too. Nobody talks about Sam, his daughter. She's 13. Charlie, I think, is 11. And they asked Charlie when he was 9 or 10 years old in school in the year 2019. They had you write down, all the kids, write down your goal for this coming year. Charlie writes down, "I want to see my dad win a golf tournament in person." He had never saw his dad win in person. And the 2019 year is where he won that Masters. And that's where Tiger came up and hugged him and Sam. Charlie gets all the credit, but he hugged Sam too. That was his very first Masters. And Charlie, wanted that to be his goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy for him and his kids. Charlie's the next big thing in the sport. Watch out for that guy.
Yeah.
Competing in.
We're going to be covering him, man. We're going to be covering Charlie. Yeah, you're right.
Justin Thomas has played with him many times and says the kid is a killer. Talking crap. More than Tiger
He's already
is.
doing the fist bump. I saw his fist bump. He looks just like Tiger.
Watch out. He's coming next. But
hey man, what else you got going? That's great about Tiger. And it's really amazing that both you and I are both big fans of, think about that. how many generations he's in between my generation and yours, and yet both of us are fans of his. How
Yeah,
many athletes hit multiple generations?
I
And
know.
Serena's another one.
Yeah.
We want to talk about Serena,
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the other thing.
another legend.
From one legend to the next, from one goat of their sport to the next goat of their sport. Yeah, she came back and lost, to Naomi,
Yeah,
in the Australian Open.
yeah.
So it was fourth major, I believe, for Naomi now. She's on a bit of a tear. She looks great. I really like her off the court activism as well, personally. If you ever get a
Very active,
big proponent of Black Lives
big
Matter, all
following
those things
now.
like that. So I really like her. She's the next face of the sport. Highest grossing woman earnings in the world of any woman athlete.
Really?
Naomi is now. So
Okay.
good for her. But Serena, man, I'm worried that like Tiger here, she might be on the downside of her career. I'm sure she'll have a resurgence like Tiger did in 2019, where she has that miracle run through a tournament, and you're clicking for that weekend, and you do it all right, and she gets another major under her belt. But she might be on the downside of her career now. She's struggling to get back to those major title matches.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Serena's 40, Osaka's 23, and
Mm-hmm.
Serena's she's one title away from tying Margaret Court, who has 24 Grand Slam titles.
Yeah.
And there's 3 more tournaments this year, and the Osaka's much better on the hard courts than she is on clay. She has not won on clay or grass. And the French Open clay courts are up next in May. So we'll be talking about that, I'm sure, when May comes up. And then the Wimbledon grass comes later. And the thought is that Serena's got a better shot on those surfaces. She is awesome at Wimbledon. So that could be where it goes down.
Awesome there. Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Serena's got another major or two in her, just a miracle run. She's still a great athlete for that sport too. It's not, not in good shape. I just think, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. She's probably been playing since she was 10. So that's 30 years of just constant high level tennis. That's going to wear anybody out. So I think she is on the downside, but I definitely think she's got a major or two left in her. And, she's just going to go down as the best, but tennis is in a great spot. Naomi's awesome face for the sport. She's Asian American as well, so she really can help maybe grow that sport in countries that aren't huge into tennis. So good for her, and she had a great Australian Open.
Hey, did you know Serena just competed in her 77th Grand Slam, and that's not number 1 all time? Who do you think is number 1 all time?
Are you talking women's or all time?
Women.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Her sister, 88.
I was gonna say her sister
at 88.
I was going to say her sister. I thought
that's not even the Wound Wise trivia of the week. I'm really gonna stump you on that one.
I was gonna say her sister. I just wimped out. I don't know.
88 to 77. Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna catch her sister because Venus is still playing.
Yeah, that's the thing. She just competes and doesn't, get a trophy. So, but yeah.
What else you got going on, man? What else is up?
Man, there's a QB carousel going around. We got Deshaun Watson still up there, but the big news is Carson Wentz getting traded to from the Eagles to the Colts. What'd you think about that?
Oh man, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. And you know what? You know who else doesn't like it? Vegas. The Super Bowl odds for Indy did not even change after the announcement. Slight little tiny change, but basically did not change. So it's not like Stafford going to the Rams. All of a sudden they jumped. No jump, So I think there's 2 reasons that I don't like this. One is the Colts were already successful last year, going 11-5. They make the playoffs. Phillip Rivers did a great job. I know you don't think he's that good, but the guy led the team. And the rise of my RB1 JT, Jonathan Taylor, and come on. So the first reason is they're already on the upswing, and they almost made it to the AFC Championship without this trade. Secondly, Wentz is a turnover machine.
Yeah.
Since June 2019, he started 29 games, turned the ball over 48 times.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing here is there's 2 ways to look at this. Whether you think Carson Wentz can get back to his original self or you don't, right? That is the only lenses people are looking at. There's either the Carson Wentz that had the worst line in football and got sacked was on pace to set the most sacked record in NFL history. Okay, he was on pace before he got benched. So his offensive line was atrocious. His weapons are atrocious. He's a good running back, but he's he's just running around for deer in a headlights because everyone's chasing him, and he's trying to make miracle throws. So that's why he's turning the ball over, and you're holding it longer, trying to make a miracle throw. So I think the turnovers can be helped because the Colts have an awesome offensive line. So I really think that'll help with the turnovers. Mentally, he's got Frank Reich back, and that's when he had his MVP season in 2017. Frank Reich was his OC. So he has a guy that supports him. Doug Peterson supposedly went 2 months without speaking to Carson Wentz. Your head coach and your quarterback didn't speak for 2 months during the season. That is
and now they're both gone.
So, I mean, if you think about, he's got a support system, he's got a great offensive line. I think they're going to add another wide receiver in free agency, but they already have Pittman and like your running back. I really think that he can be a better force for them than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to win a lot of games, but he's going to lose you a lot of games. Carson Wentz has the talent to win a Super Bowl. And I think
you're betting he's going back to 2017 levels, and I don't know that he is.
I am. So
I don't know that he is.
Yeah, that's the lens you got to look through.
And that's a high risk move, I think, by Indy, who had it all going, and they, to me, made a high risk move doing this.
Well, what would you have had them do then, Gary? Well, if they don't go for Carson Wentz, what do they do? Like, I seriously, what's the next step here? Get Sam Darnold? Like, that's their only other option.
I'd have to think about that for next week's show.
Yeah, maybe we do it for next week. I mean, I'm just saying, their only other, Phillip Rivers was shot. He can't play a full season and take you to a Super Bowl. And he just is a turnover machine that can throw the ball maybe 20 yards total down the field. So I don't think Phillip Rivers was taking him anywhere, but regardless, he retired. So what do they?
It just shows you that you don't need much to be that good. You just get somebody a little bit better, and you're on your way.
That's the thing. Who is the answer? And like I said, I've ranted about this before. I like teams that go for it, and they're going for it. If you got a coach that believes in you, go for it. He's got the talent. He's more talented than Phillip Rivers. If they can,
they're in trouble just in the AFC South now. They got, with this move, if Wentz does not play well, Tennessee is going to stay ahead of him, and Jacksonville's in that same conference. They could blow the
Jacksonville's years away. Jacksonville is years away. I know everyone wants to get on Trevor Lawrence's high horse here, but they're still a few years away from being in playoff contention. Let's not remember their team is horrible. So, but like I said, I like that they went for it. I'm hoping Carson Wentz gets back to that. I'm rooting for him. But if you don't think he's ever going to be that guy, then yeah, this was a bad move. So
not only the impact, but what they gave up to get him.
I mean, it was what, a third?
I'm not even talking about that.
I mean, he got a 3rd round pick, and then if he plays 70% of the snaps, that goes up to a 1st round pick, or a 2nd round pick. And if they play 70% of the snaps and make the playoffs, it's a 1st round pick. So it's conditional so it's not a ton, but hey, like I said, go for it. What are you going to get in the 1st round? Their team's good enough to make the playoffs with Phillip Rivers. I mean, you're good enough to make it with a lot of people. So,
yeah.
But like I said, Deshaun Watson's the other one that's interesting right now. A lot of teams out there, the Jets, the Panthers, the Miami, the Bears. I mean, there's a lot of different places he could go. What are your thoughts on him? You have a spot you like, or what?
They must be trying to keep him because, man, you thought it would go down by now. I just thought it just seems like it went quiet. And I just wonder if they're just going to keep him. Yeah. Could he? The Panthers, I think, are down to 2 options because they missed out on Stafford. They can try to get Deshaun Watson, or they could trade up and take the Jets pick if the Jets are keeping Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. I think the biggest thing is Deshaun could get traded on draft day, because I think a lot of things are closer to that, because I think Houston wanted to see the dominoes fall, right? Okay, where did all these quarterbacks end up? Now we know there's no quarterbacks left. All right. There's no one else to trade or sign. So if you want to trade Deshaun Watson, you could get Sam Darnold back. You could get Teddy Bridgewater back. You could get Tua back. So now you got a choice of who these 3 guys, who you want. All right. And then additional picks. So if I'm them personally, I'm taking Tua. He's only been you've seen a lot more Sam Darnold. Tua's a rookie. We're just coming off a rookie season. You can get 2 picks this year, 1 pick next year. I like the Miami choice personally the best for both teams. The Jets might be able to give a little bit more, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. He approved supposedly of all 3 places. He's from the Carolinas. Don't forget, he's from the Carolinas and went to school there. So that's a big
pull. Oh, yeah.
So
Clemson product.
Going to be interesting, product. These dominoes, man. So
there was a man before Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
His name was Deshaun. Hey, man. Great start there to the show. We got a great show tonight for all you fans out there. We love you guys. Keep the notes coming, the text messages coming. We have Rob Harvey joining us tonight for an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Where we talk Big Ten college basketball and March Madness. We're going to make some college basketball and pro basketball picks for you. We have Ross v. Ross tonight, focused on the NFL franchises. And we try to stump T Money on the trivia of the week. The Woonwise Trivia of the Week, Team Money. Here's a little preview. Let you think about it.
All right.
Tiger Woods has won 7 tournaments, 5 or more times. I just need you to name me 2 of them. Tiger's won 7 tournaments, 5 or more times.
Okay.
And multiply that out. I mean, all of his wins, 7 tournaments, 5 or more. That's like 40 right there. He's won 82. So just think about that. Those 7 tournaments have really been bread and butter to him.
Okay.
And we're dedicating the show tonight to Tiger Woods, everybody. But kicking it off for you right now is the T. Ross Chuggin' Chant. This week brought to you by the Nicole Wilcox Foundation. The Nicole Wilcox Foundation, based in Columbus, Ohio, helps people fight cancer with direct funding right to families in need with no administrative costs. Please consider giving your next donation to the Nicole Wilcox Foundation, supporting cancer patients for more than 20 years. Learn more at NicoleWilcoxFoundation.com. Okay, hey, let's go way up, high up in the San Francisco skyline. Let's catch up with T Money for the T Ross Chuggin' Chant. Take it away, T Money.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's Chug and Chant. Beautiful out here on the San Francisco rooftops, sunny and 70, beautiful. Just living the dream up here. This week, I want to rant about little college basketball and which teams are really elite and which aren't. So let me give you a chug here. Those listening, give me a second, and we'll chant about this. Well, this week, I'm going to tell you, Gonzaga's not an elite team. They're not an elite program. This year, they might be good, and they're undefeated. They're proving it to everybody, maybe. But when it comes tournament time, are they really reliable? All right. They've had 1 Final Four appearance in their entire program's history. Now, they've been great regular season guys every single year. But can they prove it in March? They haven't been able to. And people saying, Mark Few, give him time. He's got a great program. Mark Few's been there since 1999. Before Y2 freaking K, okay? So don't tell me he needs time. He's in his 22nd season at Gonzaga, and he's had 1 Final Four appearance, all right? They need to do better. They need to prove more to us before we can trust them when we're filling out our brackets in March. Gonzaga, you're not an elite program yet. Good coach, but in March, prove me wrong, all right? Gary, what do you think?
Hey, that was great, T. I loved it. Nice job with the chug. And I agree with you, Mr. Chug, man. You're getting really good at that. And I agree with you. Yeah, nice. How'd that feel, man? How'd that feel?
That's all right. It's all right. It's, not too horrible, not too, I'm getting used to these things, but
we got a petition going with all the fans who wanted you to do 2 chugs now, because you make that first chug look so easy. We might have to have you 2, shoot a couple.
We'll discuss that in, the next production meeting.
I agree with you. And I agree with you, man. Gonzaga has really let us down in the playoffs, man. And, Coach Few, he gets Coach of the Year. In 2017, he gets Coach of the Year, and he's been up for Coach of the Year. They're talking about it again this year. But really, He has not delivered at the end of the season. 17 of their 21 Final Four appearances, they failed to make the Elite Eight. 17 of 21. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a big
of their
number.
March Madness appearances. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do not make it.
I know.
So they're falling short. Any team that their biggest rival is St. Mary's. I mean, come on, man. You got to get into a bigger conference. Should they join a bigger conference? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for one, the politics of it are going to be hard just because they don't have a football team. So I don't think that's even possible, first off. But that would be the best way to obviously get some more respect. Now, they do play a very strong out-of-conference schedule. I mean, they beat, I think, Illinois this year. They were supposed to play Baylor this year. So they are playing top 10 teams. So my biggest thing is I don't think Mark Few's a bad coach or that the program is bad. I just think if you're not winning in March, you're not an elite program. They're always great in the regular season, always. And Mark Few's a great coach. But when you only have 3 Elite Eights since, three since 2015, and you're that good of a team, right? 3 Elite Eights.
4. 17 to 21, they failed to make it.
I think the 4th was 1999 in Mark Few's first season.
Okay.
But either way, like, if you're going to be that elite of a team, you got to at least get to the Elite Eight. You can't be making one Final Four in Mark Few's entire coaching career. What George Mason did that. Like, I can't listen to you brag about making a Final Four one time in 22 years. Like, VCU did that. Iowa State. I can.
Hey, man, you can't do your rant again. You already did your rant. Well, I'm just responding to your rant.
I'm just saying that you can't. You're not an elite program. I think this is the first time they're going to have a lottery pick on their roster for once this year. Like, they don't have lottery picks; they're all senior laden.
Yeah, that's right. They are kind of on the rise a little bit. They have 4 straight seasons of 31 or more wins, and they reached a title game in 17 and the Elite Eight in 19. So if you look at 17 to 19, they are showing a little bit more power there at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, man.
That's fine.
Hey, let's move on to Ross V. Ross, we're going to see what you got in your T-Money. We're going to see what you got. We're going to talk about who is the worst franchise in the NFL. And, we got some time to think about this. And first, I'm going to tell you who the top 3 are in terms of value. And then you can tell me who your bottom 3 are, or your bottom 1, your worst one. The top 3 in terms of valuation. Okay, if you went to buy these teams, Dallas Cowboys, $5.7 billion, and it's going up. New England Patriots are second, $4.4 billion, and it's going up. And you won't believe number 3. This is out of Forbes 2020 ranking. The Giants, $4.3 billion and going up.
Very interesting.
What do you think about that?
Hey, they're a big brand because they live in a big city, so it doesn't surprise me. They won a couple of Super Bowls a couple of years ago, so not too crazy.
Yeah, they got some value, man. So who is your worst NFL franchise? And then I'll tell you mine.
All right, so I think there's a couple ways to look at this, but I'm taking it as who's the current worst NFL franchise, not in NFL history. And, I'm allowed to say this. It's the Bengals. Okay,
You're the only one.
We are the worst franchise. Okay, now we have the 26th worst record in NFL history, but just a quick rundown of what's happened to the teams that are worse than us historically, but their teams recently. The Jets, they've been to 2 conference championships about a decade ago. They're headed in the right direction right now with Robert Saleh. They're spending money. I like the Jets, and they've been successful recently. Houston was up 24 on the Chiefs in not this playoffs, but last season's playoffs. So they made the playoffs and they were winning versus the Chiefs. They just have a Deshaun Watson problem, but that could be over with. Atlanta was in the Super Bowl, but blew a huge lead recently. Jacksonville spending a lot of money on their coaches, free agents, and they're going all in on Trevor Lawrence. And they're spending a lot of money on their facilities and flying to London and back a lot. And then the worst in NFL history is Tampa, record-wise. They've won 2 Super Bowls and just won the most recent one. Bengals are trash. They don't spend any money in free agency. They're known for not spending money and being very frugal. And their facilities are terrible, and that's a league-wide known thing. Nobody wants to go there because they live in a cold weather climate, and they don't have an indoor facility. It's insane. They're frugal. They don't upgrade their facilities, and they don't spend in free agency. I just don't think that they're ever going to be a good franchise because they're content with being mediocre.
I thought you loved Cincinnati, man. You lived in Cincinnati.
I will root for them forever, but I just think that until the owner gives up that ownership, they're going to always be mediocre. At least the other teams have had success. The Bengals, they can't even win a playoff game.
I'm gonna tell you who mine are, who my worst ones are, but my worst of the worst comes from that state up north in Michigan, the team that Matt Stafford just left, and all of a sudden LA's gonna make it to the title, but the Detroit Lions let him go, and I think not only the moves that they're making, but I'm just gonna back it up with a couple stats. Let's go back to valuation. Here's the worst 3 valuation companies. If you go to sell them, NFL franchises, the worst is your team, the Bengals, $2 billion. Yep. Buffalo Bills are only $2.05 billion. They're 31st. And 30th is the Lions. So they're in the bottom 3. They're $2.1 billion valuation, and they're one of the bottom 3 in terms of value. Now let's look at another metric, the worst NFL records for the last 20 years. Okay. Last place is the Browns, but we know that they're on the move. But second to last, my friend, is the Lions. 119, 216, and 1. Win percentage, 36%. They made the playoffs 3 times and did not win 1 game. That's your Lions, man. Worst NFL franchise.
Hey, I can't argue with that because that is really a great argument. I mean, they just haven't been good.
So you appoint me the winner of the Ross v. Ross for this week?
No, because I will not, because we are valued at the worst franchise in sports. I mean, Forbes says it. And you guys have made the playoffs recently with Dan.
Hey, you can't use my stats against me, man.
So I'm just saying, here's the thing. At least Detroit is going for it. They're firing their coach when he's not good. They're bringing in a new quarterback, Jared Goff, who's been somewhat successful. They have they're trying to do better. Our ownership will never do that. Our ownership is fine with collecting the ownership check that gets sent to everyone due to TV deals and not spending a dime on his own team. That's how he makes money. That's the other thing people got to remember here. That's how this guy makes money as an owner, from this team. Most owners have other businesses and then they buy a team. This guy got his team given to him by his family that's owned it for a long time, and that's his only job and source of revenue and income. So I think that has a lot to do with it. We're just too frugal, and we don't care about winning. Our ownership cares about cashing checks of their own.
Well, I think we both made good arguments for our fans to kind of break down. And if we had a ability to let people vote live, they could vote for who they think made the best argument. That'd be cool. We got to add that feature to our show.
Check it out on Instagram. We'll send out a poll on Instagram. Yeah. What everyone thinks.
Yeah, we got to do that. See, get some activity going on our Ross v. Ross, man. Hey, you fans, vote me up, man. Vote me up. The Detroit Lions, the worst NFL franchise. Hey, man, we're going to go to our interview this week with Rob Harvey. We got a really special guest here for you all on the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline. It's going to be Rob Harvey. Let's bring in Rob now. Hey, we welcome into the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline, Rob Harvey. Rob grew up just outside of Columbus, strolled down the road, went to the Ohio State University, picked up his bachelor's degree there. And since then, Rob's accumulated a very successful sales and account management career in the technology industry. So if anyone wants to talk about data center, cloud, software as a service, or IT security, Rob is your man. One of the big fans of the show and local Ohio State Buckeye fanatic, Rob Harvey. Welcome to the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline.
Thank you, G-Man and Team Money. It's great to be with you guys. Love what you're doing. This show is absolutely awesome. I've enjoyed everything so far. So keep it up. I love the Father, Son, and Holy Sport combination. You guys are killing it. Killing
thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
Hey.
We love it. We love it. Glad to
Hey.
have you on, man.
Part of our job is to research things, and we noticed something on your LinkedIn profile. You took a certification called digital body language. So we're just wondering, in our preparation for the show, what that all meant. Have you got some kind of tip out here for T Money and I on digital body language?
My shoulders.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hey,
That's
man,
a made-up certification, I think.
So now we cannot trust.
graduate.
We can't trust a single thing Rob says the rest of the show. Then. He's clearly just fabricating things.
It looks great. I love that digital body language certification because we need that because we're all in Zoom now. We're not in person anymore, so we got to do digital, man. Hey, Rob, excited to get your perspective on the LSU Michigan game, just coming off of that stunning for us Buckeyes. How firm my friendship. We took it down, man. Michigan beat us 92-87. Just want to get your perspective on the game.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have been more evenly matched. I mean, it kind of played out the way I expected. Michigan 10 of 13 from threes in the first half. I mean, that was crazy. But they kind of leveled themselves out as the game wore on. And down the stretch, a couple of key turnovers, rebounding, I think hurt us. Their 7'1" guy, Dickinson, he hurt us. So, I think we made up for some things. The team has played really well. We made up some things with our deep bench. And I thought the Buckeyes played really well. And, man, the Big Ten just looks really tough, don't they?
Oh, yeah. That conference looks incredible. I thought it was a great game. Both these teams are really solid, and neither of them have an overwhelming star. There's not like one great go-to guy that's just carrying this team. Both of them are really solid teams. Obviously, Michigan is much, much better, but I really liked what the Buckeyes did. It was a fun game to watch. There was
Go ahead.
Defense. There was not.
Go ahead. Get it out, T. Get it out. We know you're a Michigan fan.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is just good day for me yesterday. It was really fun, but there was no defense played. I don't know. Neither team played defense yesterday, which was surprising. Both solid.
Yeah.
So that was surprising.
Michigan 10 3-pointers in the first half, as Rob said, but they still only led by 2.5. So even amidst that onslaught of 3-pointers, the Buckeyes were only down 2.5. Rob, what were you thinking at halftime? We're going to the locker room. We're still in the game.
Absolutely. That's a great point, G-Man. But, just relying on that deep bench, I think definitely helped. We got great play from Liddell. He had 23 points. Washington, he just continues to amaze me with his play. Kyle Young inside, he's only 6'7", 6'8", but, man, he sure plays a lot bigger than that. Key has played well for the Buckeyes. He's a bigger guy, and they can put him in to kind of bang with the bigs when they really need to get some rebounds. But that one possession where they got 3 rebounds and put it back in, and that was a critical point in the game. And I think that really stung. But what I love is we're going to have another shot at them in the Big Ten tournament, hopefully, and then potentially in the NCAA tournament. So definitely looking forward to playing them again. I mean, things the way they're going to shake out in the Big Ten. You look at these schedules left. Ohio State still has. What do we got left? We've got Iowa, Illinois, and then Illinois also has a pretty tough schedule remaining. So it's going to be interesting how this shakes out. We're wanting that number 1 seed. But hey, we still got 3 tough games and the Big Ten tournament to go through before all this kind of settles itself out.
Before you get to that, let's finish up this game, man. This game, I think it told us a lot about these two teams. They're both ranked number 1 seeds going into this. Ohio State, as you said, I think Washington can score with anybody. He gets 30 points. He puts a 3-pointer in with 3 seconds left. They put him in within 3. But the guy is the go-to person for the Buckeyes, man. Dwayne Washington Jr., 5 20-point games this season, plus he had 30. So the guy's a stud, man. And Liddell, I think he's strong on the offensive end. The guy can go inside and out. That's what I like about him. But it's really these two guys on the offense. Can they play the defense? Liddell just could not hang with that big Dickinson guy from Michigan. 7'1",
Big
and
boy,
Liddell's
too.
6'7". He's trying to guard Dickinson. Dickinson was throwing him all over the place. Can we match up on our defensive side?
And he's not one of those small, 7'1", tall, skinny guys. He is a thick guy, so he's just a bruiser. He reminds me a lot of like Marc Gasol back in the heyday. He's just really thick and dominant down low, especially in college.
Yeah, have you guys noticed the last few games? Liddell's taking more 3-point shots, so he's making them.
He can hit,
good, but we got to depend on somebody, down below. So I think these matchups against some of these other teams that have bigs like Kofi Cockburn from Illinois, Garza from Iowa. I think you'll see Key get some key minutes, no pun intended, down the stretch. But
I'll tell you who else is hurting him, man. CJ Walker, he's hurting the Buckeyes. I just don't think he's doing the job at that point guard, man. The guy's turning the ball over. He's trying to do too much, man. CJ Walker, what do you think about CJ, Rob?
I think he's had a great year so far. He's definitely runs that offense. He's definitely part of the conduit to this team. He didn't have the greatest game yesterday, but man, the defense too. I mean, we could play better defensively. We got to figure out ways to stop the high-powered offenses of Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, even Wisconsin. They can all score. So, man, it's just fun to watch the Big Ten. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. And those two teams especially, and Michigan went in the year unranked. Ohio State, I think, was ranked, but maybe 24th to start the season, something like that. So both these teams to be projected number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament, both teams have had a great year. Coaching Chris Holtzman has been great. Juwan Howard, both of them, just the Big Ten is stacked now because those two teams have really risen to the occasion this year.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see it unravel.
What do you think, Rob, in terms of the Buckeyes going forward? Did they prove to you that they're in the conversation for one of the top 4 teams, or are you a little bit worried about them now that you saw this game? What's your general attitude? What do you think Buckeye country is feeling right now by the Buckeyes?
It would be really nice to get a 1 seed. I mean, and all the advantages that come with the matchups in a 1 seed, especially like in round 2 and 3 as you progress through the tournament, even versus a 2 seed. But I'm confident they'll at least get a 2 seed.
Yeah.
But you got, it's going to be tough, based on the schedule remaining for a lot of the teams that are ranked in the top 10, for those 1 and 2 seeds. But you got some that'll settle in for sure, like Gonzaga and Baylor. They're going to grab 1 seeds, but then and probably Michigan, and then that last number 1 seed, it's going to come from the Big Ten most likely, and depending on what happens down the stretch with Illinois and Ohio State, that'll probably determine who gets that last number 1 seed.
Probably. Do you see anyone stopping Gonzaga or Baylor right now? Both undefeated. I mean, they both just are clicking. Baylor's not played as many games, but Gonzaga's just been rolling this year.
So T, you live out on the West Coast. You've probably seen Gonzaga play a lot more, but I certainly like Crispert. He's a tough player. I've caught a couple of late night games. They play a weekly schedule. Play a weekly schedule, but they beat Illinois. Gonzaga did beat Illinois earlier in the year. They were supposed to play Baylor, and that game got canceled from COVID.
Canceled.
That will be a fun matchup, and we may get a chance to catch that at some point.
Yeah, if they reschedule that'd be great. I mean, they have, I think, a top 5 pick. Jalen Suggs is projected right now 2nd in the latest mock draft I've seen. So they're not without studs. I mean, typically they're a really veteran-laced team, and it's a bunch of seniors who probably won't make the NBA, but there's some studs on that team. They got a couple guys projected to be drafted this year, some younger guys, some transfers. So Gonzaga's deeper than I think they have been, because they've kind of not been as great in March Madness as everyone has hoped them to be. And I think this year they're actually a lot deeper and better than they typically are. So I'm a little more scared than I ever have been at Gonzaga, actually.
I mean, you think about it too, without Duke, without Kentucky, without North Carolina, Kansas is number 17, I think, at this week's rankings.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a year for Gonzaga to win it, this is their year. So
yeah, if you lose to Illinois, then you're not the premier program you want to be. Even though they're having a great year, Illinois is not known for being great. So Gonzaga's got to put in the work this year.
The past 3 months, there's been two other top 5 teams that played each other. You know, outside of the Ohio State Michigan game in the past 3 months, Baylor beat Illinois by 13. Gonzaga beat Iowa by 11. So both of those teams beat the Big Ten, Big Ten's, top tier teams by double digits.
Yeah.
So Gonzaga and Baylor are going to bring it, man. They're going to bring it. We're talking about the Big Ten and how good it is, but hey, those guys are going to bring it. Hey, what do you think about next Tuesday? I'm looking at next Tuesday's game as we wrap up here on the Big Ten. Michigan's 11-1 in the Big Ten. Illinois is 12-3 in the Big Ten, and they have a big man themselves. Illinois has 7-foot.
Oh yeah,
Kofi Cockburn. Okay, so he's going to match up March 2nd, which is next Tuesday. Michigan v. Illinois. What do you guys think on that game?
Illinois scares me right now. I mean, if you listen to the ESPN pontificates, they're saying nobody in the country wants to play Illinois right now.
No.
And I think they're that good. I think they're gelling at the right time, and they are very well-rounded. You mentioned Kofi Cockburn. DeSumo is on the Naismith Award watch list. I think he's a top 10 or 15 on that list. Trent Frazier on Illinois. They're very well-rounded. So Michigan should be scared, T-Money. They may have your number, buddy.
I would be scared. I know that we have some big boys on our team, and we go inside a lot, but that dude in Illinois, I mean, he is a beast. He looks like he was made in a lab somewhere. He is just really, really good. Maybe one of the best big men out there. So I am scared of them because of how well-rounded they are. And they are such a presence inside with him that there's not, you don't just have to take away a 3-point shot it's going to be difficult. Illinois is really talented.
So that is
nice. Yeah, go ahead, G. Sorry.
That is the big game left before the tournament. And then we go to the tournament. Big Ten tournament moved to Indianapolis. It was typically in Chicago, but it moved because of COVID to Indianapolis. And the top 4 teams, not the top 2, get double buys. So Wednesday, March 10th, it's the 11th through 14th seeds. Thursday, March 11th, it's the 5 through 10 seeds. And then that Saturday, then the Final Four is on that Saturday, March 13th. And if Illinois and the Buckeyes are ranked 2-3, no matter who is 2 or who's 3, those guys are going to face off in the Final Four. Illinois against Ohio State, probably both going to be ranked 2-3, I'm guessing, going into that tournament, and they'll probably hit each other on Saturday, March 13th. So what do you think about that, Rob, when you look at a potential OSU-Illinois matchup in the Final Four of the Big Ten tourney?
Yeah, that'd be, we got them earlier this year. That was great. But like I said, they're just playing really well right now. But so are we. I mean, we're just so deep on our bench.
Yeah.
So I like our chances in that game. But, I'm interested in your guys' take. What are some surprises we might see in the Big Ten tournament? Rutgers started off the year ranked like 14th or 15th, and they've kind of fallen off.
Yeah. Purdue's beaten Ohio State twice. So they have the talent to shock some people too. So like you said, Rutgers looks great. Like they're very deep everywhere. It's going to be really fun. Michigan.
Yeah, these matchups the Thursday Friday matchups will be key, and hopefully it favors us going into the weekend. But and I have so many great memories of the Big Ten tournament being in Indianapolis. I from probably 2005 or so until about 2013 or 14. We were over there every year. I mean, with our buds, and Conseco Fieldhouse was the host for the Big Ten tournament every year. I love that. It was at the United Center in Chicago a couple times, and we did that. The thing I loved about Indy is that everything was so centralized. All of the teams are right there. We'd post up at B-Dubs between games. I mean, remember that commercial where the guys were having their mail delivered at the B-Dubs? That's what it felt like that weekend. Reach out and grab a Michigan State guy, an Illinois, a Purdue guy would be right. You'd be talking trash.
Oh my gosh.
And then, 3 hours later, you'd be going into another game. So that was so much fun. And it'll be nice to be back in Indy this year. They got a unique setup. They're going to have 2 courts at Lucas Oil set up. They're going to have where Butler plays, Hinkle Fieldhouse, and then I think where IUPUI plays as well will be a site, and then Bloomington and West Lafayette, where IU and Purdue play, will also be sites. But the women's tournament will be going on at the same time, just to take advantage of COVID testing and some efficiencies there. But it'll be a crazy stretch of 3 or 4 days there.
Yeah,
you're all over it, man. You're all over it.
Where's the local watering hole that Rob Harvey would go to in Indy? You know, clearly he's a veteran there.
Yeah, what is the name of that place? Can we get a plug for your favorite bar?
You know, and I wanted to go to, you know, Rob Harvey's bar. Where am I going to find him after all the games?
It's probably called Rob Harvey's bar. You know.
I like it. I was just there for a club volleyball tournament a few weeks ago, and you know, everything was shut down, so we really didn't get to experience the bars too much. But yeah, when I was going to the tournaments, it was beat ups because it was right next to the field house there.
This guy's a club volleyball player too. What position do you play in, Rob? You up in there?
He's got to be a setter.
It's my son, buddy.
He's got to be a setter.
I was gonna say, what position is Rob Harvey playing out here? Okay, his son's playing. All right.
His son's taller than him.
Oh my gosh!
I know what that's like.
Not hard to do, is it, Gene?
Oh, team money.
No.
Hey, let's shift gears and move toward the national picture. Okay, we talked about the Big Ten. Moving toward the national, and the national March Madness is all going to be played in Indiana too. So Indiana's like the spot, man. They're raking in some economy here. The majority of games are right in Indianapolis for March Madness. And so what's your strategy, Rob? You going to take all Indiana teams in the G-Man bracket? I mean, you figure those Indiana teams must have some kind of edge. They're playing in Indiana. That first round upset, do you go with the Indiana team?
I don't know. I got no. I do have some sleepers out there. I mean, West Virginia they went from 12 to 10 this week. They are tough. They've had a pretty bad first half of the season, but they're playing well in the second half. I'd look for them. Both Texas and Texas Tech are tough. Alabama is a surprise. I mean, I'm interested to see what they're going to do in the tournament, because I don't think the SEC is all that tough in basketball this year. And the ACC is interesting too. I mean, Florida State's the top ranked team there, and they're 10th. So, man, there's just all kinds of crazy things that could happen.
Hey, if you like West Virginia, this Thursday they play Baylor. If you like West Virginia, they're going to get it on this Thursday.
That one's on the schedule for sure. I want to watch that one. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Like you said, it's going to be interesting. Duke the other day just beat number 6 Virginia too. So, you know, even though they've had a really down year, that is a big win for them to maybe.
Duke's got a shot.
They sneak in the bubble.
They got a shot.
I mean, that would be a scary matchup if I was anybody. I mean, as much as they've had a down year, they're still Duke. That's still Coach K over there. They still have the talent. They just haven't been able to put it together. If they start rolling at the right time, you know, you could get this, you know, UConn Kemba Walker type run at an 8 seed or something. You know, they definitely have the talent.
You don't want me to slap the floor, because I'll put some defense on you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, while we're on the topic here, you know, of OSU, I got to see what your thoughts are going into next year's football season. You know, you lose Justin Fields, and, you know, Ryan Day had a bad showing in the national championship, even though they got there. So it's not like it's been a horrible season. But what are your thoughts heading into next year's football season?
Yeah, we'll probably start the quarterback position. Who's going to win that quarterback job?
Yeah.
You know, we've got Stroud, and you've got Miller. A lot of people are high on Miller. He's a big guy, pocket passer. Stroud's a little more athletic. But I think the guys that are coming in, Ewers, and there's another guy, they're like 5-star recruits. So
next year, I think those guys.
It's going to be interesting there. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't prepared to talk about football. G-Man says I got to talk about basketball.
I had to bring it up. You know, I just
Team
wanted
Money.
to see what you're.
Team Money's stretching you, man. We stretch you here on Father Son.
I'm gonna just
Father's
a little bit.
If he's a Michigan fan, he does not want to talk about football.
Oh, yeah,
right
I know.
now.
Yeah, he does not. Yeah, that's true.
What did you think
true.
about Fields' final game then in the national championship? You at least watched that. So what was your thoughts on Justin Fields, you know, last game and where he's going in the draft now?
Yeah, I don't know. They're saying that the top 4 picks will probably be quarterbacks, and that has him going to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think that seems like it'd be a good fit. I don't know a whole lot about the Falcons, but that seems like it might be a good fit for him. But we'll see.
He's from there, so that'd be nice. But it's shocking to see him like throw and have an amazing game versus Clemson and be the consensus number 2 pick in the draft, and then he goes the next week. Doesn't play a terrible game, but doesn't light it up versus Alabama, who just goes bonkers. And now all of a sudden he's the fourth quarterback off the board. Just like such a drastic drop from mid-season to now. It's kind of shocking.
Hey man, he's going to be fine. He took Trevor Lawrence to the woodshed.
He did.
Head to head. Head to head took him to the woodshed.
Throwing bombs.
Hey, Rob, we have about 30 seconds left before we wrap up here, Rob. Is there any special cause you're passionate about that you want to give a little shout out to?
Yeah, as you guys both know and have been very involved with helping us with the foundation, the Nicole Wilcox Foundation, me and one of my best friends, Randy Wilcox, and of course your lovely wife and your mom, T Money, Vicki Ross, helps us a ton with the foundation. And you can find information on us at www.nicolewilcoxfoundation.com. But we really focus on supporting cancer families, those that are surviving. They might be left with some medical bills and some financial struggles, as well as try to help them with some respite care. If you go to the website, you can donate. There's also treatment bag request you can do out there. So I love the foundation, and we've been going since 1998. And of course, this year was a little tough. We couldn't do our biggest fundraiser, the golf outing, in which yours truly, G-Man, does the auction and raffle giveaways, which is awesome. He's got many talents.
Passed them all on to Team Money. But hey, man, we love that organization. You guys are so good. And you're on the board there, and you guys are doing an awesome job. We support you 100%, right, T?
Oh yeah. We love that foundation. We love the events you guys host, and we're just so pumped that you got to come on today and discuss OSU getting beaten by the better team this past weekend. It was good to have you on.
We're gonna get you. We're coming to get you, buddy.
Rob, thanks for coming on the father-son Coast to Coast Hotline, and good luck to your Buckeyes the rest of the way, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Doing an awesome job. Keep it up.
Thanks. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Hey, that was Rob Harvey, ladies and gentlemen. What a fun interview, T Money.
Oh, that was great. I loved having him on. He knows his stuff, man. He's got the Big Ten on lock, man. We're gonna have to have a side segment of just Rob Harvey talking Big Ten basketball. Let's bring in Rob Harvey on the hardwood. That's
He knows the Big Ten. He knows the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked having him on, man. It was a good time, and always love having Rob on. He's passionate about those Buckeyes.
He would not reveal his top bar though in Indianapolis. I couldn't believe.
No, he wants to keep it a secret. He doesn't want the likes of us at his bar. We really bring down the standard there.
T Money live in his cloffice, but still an Ohio guy, Big Ten guy, but out there in San Francisco. G-Man, I'm here with you here in Ohio. Okay, and Rob Harvey, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Big Ohio guy, March Madness guy. We're gearing up for the tournament that starts the Big Ten and all the other conference tournaments. We're going to feature next week. They start up in 2 weeks. Hey, y'all, let's go to our picks where you make money off me and T Money. Hey, that's a good little jingle.
Nice little jingle there. Nice.
So we can choose any sport we want. 2 picks. Okay, 2 picks each. And why don't you start?
Yeah, thanks.
What you got?
I've been on a hot streak here, and that's because I keep choosing the Nets. Man, they can put up points, and that I will take any day. Give me the points over the Mavs this Saturday, and KD should be back and playing. Kevin Durant been out a little bit with a little bit of hamstring injury, so I think he'll be back, and they're just high scoring. The Mavs can't stop anyone just as worse as the Nets can, but the Nets can score a lot. I'll continue to take the points and the over in this game.
Look at you going after the NBA. Hey, I'm going down to college basketball, and all of you guys are going to get this tape Thursday. We're recording this Wednesday night. So, hey, you'll get this Thursday. There's a double header Thursday night. I'm going to pick both games for you right now. Right now. Thursday at 7:00, y'all. Iowa at Michigan. Iowa 17-6, Michigan 16-1. Michigan favored by 4. Which team am I going to go with, y'all? Which team? Well, let's talk about Iowa. They have the most wins against ranked opponents this season. Did you know that? In the top 20.
Pretty
They got
impressive.
them. Yeah, really impressive what they've done. Although a lot of the teams they beat were like over 15, but
Yeah.
they still have beaten teams that are ranked. They've won 4 in a row. So they're coming into this thing with some momentum. So they're 17-6, but Michigan, after that win versus Ohio State, they seem to be building up the momentum. Juwan Howard is up for candidate for Coach of the Year. The guy's just done a great job. He's never coached in the NCAA tournament yet. That's kind of weird because he's been there a while. Well, they canceled it last year.
Yeah, that was his first year.
Yeah, Michigan 7-3-1 against the spread at home. They got this one at home. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. They beat Iowa at home last year by 12. I think they do that again. They're going to beat this spread of 4. I'm going Michigan in that first game to cover. And in the second game, I'll bring that in right here, T-Money. The 9 o'clock game is Ohio State, Michigan State. Ohio State 18-5, Michigan State 12-9. The Spartans just upset Illinois on Tuesday night. They were up by 10 at half. So, the Spartans are on the bubble, fighting against Duke to get into the tournament. This is crazy. But can they beat the Buckeyes? Buckeyes coming off that Michigan game. They still look like a number 1 or 2 seed. But the Buckeyes are 7-3 on the road straight up. Okay. I think they win this game. They're 13-7-1 against the spread this year. The line is 5. I'm going to tell you what, I like them to win over the spread, but I'm going to give you the pick. We're going money line on the Buckeyes to win on the money line, which means they're going to win the game.
All right. I like it.
What do you think about those two?
I think the Buckeyes definitely win. Michigan State had a good game, but I don't think that they're going to continue to put that together. But, hey, they're scary in March. Tom Izzo's good. And then I like Michigan over Iowa. They have a lot of bodies to throw at Luke Garza, who is basically Iowa's whole offense. So that's what I like about Michigan is they can defend Luke Garza up for player of the year. They have multiple 7-foot guys that can throw at him. So I think that's why it's a bad matchup for Iowa. But I'll stay in college as well, and I'll keep in the Big Ten with the Saturday matchup of number 5 Illinois versus number 23 Wisconsin. And I'll take the points with Illinois. They just got upset by Michigan State. I think they're going to be ticked off. They're going to want to get another win under their belt here for the committee versus a ranked team. And I think that they have a monster of a center. He's also up for player here. Monster. And so I think he's just going to punish them inside. They have some tall 7-footers, but they're all kind of skinnier, like to shoot threes. They're not bangers inside. That's why Michigan has hurt Wisconsin in the past too. So I think Illinois is ticked off and they're going to run over Wisconsin here.
Yeah. It's like February madness in the Big Ten. All these teams are like beating each other.
Yeah. They're crazy.
And then, will Michigan continue to emerge? And the question is, are they on the same tier as Gonzaga, Baylor? Everybody says, Gonzaga, Baylor are the top 2, and then there's kind of everybody else. Well, is Michigan now kind of emerging up into that as one of the 3?
I think they should be. You lose one game the entire year. Now, I'm one of those guys, especially in basketball. Football, there's not enough games for this to lose a game. But I like Michigan to maybe lose a game at the end here, like losing the Big Ten championship or something, so that they
take the pressure off.
Take a little pressure off, but motivate them. Like, let them know you're human. That I want them to come out a little more aggressive. They're letting a lot of teams get a lead on them in the beginning. And so I think a loss at some point could be favorable. I prefer it to come in like the Big Ten title game or, some round like that, maybe. I don't know, but hey.
We're going to have a lot to talk about next week, man, after these picks. See what happens in the Big Ten.
All right, yeah.
Hey, we're heading toward the finish line of the Father, Son, and Holy Sports show as we work our way to the Woundwise Trivia of the Week. Today's Trivia of the Week brought to you by Woundwise IQ. Woundwise IQ is a patented mobile imaging and analytics software app that is used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with chronic wounds. Just download the app from the App Store and you're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. T-Money, I mentioned to you earlier, hopefully you and the fans got a chance to think about this. Tigers won 7 tournaments, 5 or more times. So that's about half of his victories on tour have come from these 7 tournaments. Can you name 2 of them?
Okay, I'm gonna try. I might butcher this. Is one of them the Masters?
That is correct.
Okay.
T Money, 5 times he won the Masters. The
Okay.
first one in 97 we talked about with Phil, and then the one in 2019 where he went up and hugged Charlie and Sam.
Yeah. Okay. Safeway? Is that the Safeway Open? No.
No.
Dang it.
Where is that?
That's actually here, a little north of me in San Francisco. I was actually at that Safeway golf course. It's called Silverado Golf Course. I stayed there this past weekend, sitting poolside in Napa Valley. So,
wow, nice, man.
Yeah,
Living the big life. Yeah, you invite G-Man down there anytime.
Okay, yeah.
Knock the ball around.
Maybe we can work this out. Or I'll give 1 or 2 more here. I could.
Yeah, I can't believe you can't get one of them.
I got one. I got the Masters here, and then Genesis.
Memphis?
Genesis.
No, that's his tournament.
Yeah, that's his turn. I'll give 1 more, and let's see if the Wells Fargo.
The Wells Fargo is not correct.
I'm totally swinging for the fences here. So
you are, and you're going to be very disappointed when you hear this list.
I am.
Hey,
I never remember the name of every freaking golf. I know the 4 big ones, and I don't remember every single one.
All right, he's got 8 wins at 2 courses: the Arnold Palmer Invitational in Orlando, and the WGC Bridgestone at Akron Firestone in Ohio.
Oh,
Shout out to Wedge, the man's played Firestone. Wedge, you listening out there? Come on, man. Get out there, little giant. And he's won 7 times, T, at these 2 courses, the Farmers Insurance Open.
Farmers, that's
at Torrey Pines outside of San Diego. And the other one's WGC Cadillac Championship in Florida, where the top 70 golfers play. He won that 7 times.
I should have got Farmers 5 times. And Torrey. Farmers and Torrey I should have got.
Torrey Pines, yeah. He loves that.
He caught me off guard. I think it's one of the few times I haven't gotten this in a while. You know,
and then the 5 times are the Masters. You mentioned that. And then another one that was 5 times was the BMW Championship, which moves around to different courses. And the last one, who you're going to really be shocked that you did not get, is in Columbus, Ohio, at the Muirfield, the Memorial Jacks course. He's won it 5 times.
Such an idiot. I'm such.
And he won 3 straight from 99 to 01 when he was in that run. He won 3 straight at Muirfield.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you all a story, all you fans, about T Money and I. My second story about T Money and I at the Muirfield. We were together at the Muirfield. Tiger was playing, so it was packed, and we're trying to follow him. He's moving from the 4th green to the 5th tee, if you know that course. And T Money and I, we got to get over there. We got to get over there so we can see him walk by. And everybody was saying you cannot have cameras on the course. Now they kind of let them. But in the beginning, they would not allow you to have cameras at all.
No.
And so T and I are like waiting along the ropes. And here comes Tiger. His caddy's coming first, like making sure nobody's taking pictures. And then Tiger's coming after him. And right as the caddy passes Tyler, T Money turns and snaps a picture as his head's turned behind his back and catches him and Tiger in a photograph walking up to that 5th. That was an unbelievable moment.
That was hilarious.
Remember that, man? You remember that?
Always had
good times.
I remember that. That was hilarious. Always had good times at the Memorial. I'm sick to my stomach that I didn't even remember that. Jeez. I wasn't ready for it. I was overwhelmed with the amount of golf courses. I think that's what got me. It's just so many freaking tournaments.
Hey, we got to start tracking your success rate, because I think that's probably the first one you've missed, man.
I know.
You've got every single week you've nailed that pick. But hey, man, it's not over for Tiger. Tiger, we got you, man. We got you, man. You're going to do it. Go get it, Tiger. We're going to wrap up here next week after the closing of the men's basketball season last year due to COVID. How many of the top 10 teams are going to be back? We're going to talk about top 10 after last year closing down. And now we're going to bring you this year with a new March Madness after that year off, man. It's going to feel great. And we hope you love the show. Thank you to Woundwise IQ for sponsoring our Trivia of the Week. Thank you to the Nicole Wilcox Foundation for sponsoring the T. Ross Chuggin Chant. If you're interested in sponsoring, let us know. And we're going to cover the conference tournaments. We're going to break them down next week. We got you Big 12. We got you SEC. We're going to talk about your conference tournament. We're going to see who comes out of that.
Wow. All right. That's exciting. Can't wait, man. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. You know, it was a fun time, and thoughts and prayers to Tiger Woods right now.
Hey, man, take it easy, T Money. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.
See y'all.